guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rise. We're back here at one of my special filming spot locations because guess what? We have a pretty special truck for you. It's this vehicle right here. This is a 2025 Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro, and it's featured in the TRD Pro specific color for 2025 called Mud Bath. But before we get into this very controversial truck, let's talk about what's going on here. So Toyota Tacoma goes all the way back to 1995, if you could believe that. The last time that we had a redesign was back in 2016. Now, the reason why I say that this is controversial is because it is the first Tacoma without the availability anywhere of a V6. What we have underneath the hood of our TRD Pro is an iForce Max setup. Now, there are good qualities of this powertrain, but people always associate Tacoma with long-lasting, durable V6 power. But what I want to find out is it still the must-have truck for 2025 the way that it comes equipped from the factory today? Why don't we go ahead, let's dive into our Tacoma TRD Pro and see if we can find out. Right off the bat, I do love the dimensions of the Tacoma. I really feel like because mid-sized trucks have gotten a little bit larger over the years, that it fits that perfect sweet spot. Now at the front of the business, you're gonna see all new design. New headlight design, love the way you got your LED daytime running lamps, LED headlights. One of my zonks right off the bat is this guy right here. Why? Why oh why do we have a fake corner vent? The other thing I don't understand is that this is the TRD off-road. So I'm assuming that they know people are probably gonna go do some off-roading with this truck. Why do we have these gloss black fender flares? These are gonna get scratched to heck when you're going off-roading, and it's gonna stand out a lot more compared to if they were flat black. Now, working our way down, you do get a lot of ground clearance. We're looking at about 11 inches of ground clearance. And I like the way that they shape the lower bumper area. You'll notice that we have the Toyota bright red TRD Pro recovery tow hooks and our stamped steel skid plate underneath, that TRD Pro stamped steel skid plate to protect the underside belly of this beast. And then of course we have Rigid Industries cube headlight design. This is the brand. You know, I'm gonna go over this vehicle and I'm gonna mention brands like Rigid. They know the business when it comes to off-road lighting, and that's why Tacoma has it on the truck. Now, coming across the front grille, we have our Toyota Heritage badge. That's when you see the Toyota name spelled out. We have another rectangular cube style headlight setup in the center here, driving light in the center. This only comes on when the brights are on. So when you're doing that desert running, you could have that on. That's gonna illuminate things at night. Forward-facing camera, I'm very surprised there's not a washer. So that's a zonk. But working our way down, you do have functionality in the center grille area. And they did sculpt the front lower bumper area very well to give you a good approach angle. But let me know what you think about the face of the Tacoma, the new Tacoma. For the most part, I actually think that they did a great job with it. Now, as we rise up, one of those TRD things is you have this fake hood scoop. I guess you could use it as a pencil box or, you know, somewhere to put your erasers and stuff, but I just wish it was functional. It's like, why couldn't they do something with that? But it does give the hood a nice piece of attitude, and that big old bulge looks great on the hood. Now, as we come around the bend, I mentioned Rigid Industry lighting up front. When it comes to wheels, you're gonna get these BBS wheels from a great company with the TRD badge in the center, Toyota Racing Development. It is an 18-inch wheel, and then tires are gonna be 265 on the width, 70 series sidewalls, those Goodyear Wrangler Territory RT tires. Check out suspension though. We have a forged anodized upper control arm, TRD springs, and Fox Racing shock absorbers, those QS3 shock absorbers, all four corners. That's another brand like Rigid, like BBS, Fox nose off-road suspension. The shock absorbers are 2.5 inches in size with the lift that it gives the truck, and it's just going to give the perfect amount of compression and rebound setup. And then you'll also notice I'm going to have Steven swing back in as I get out of the way, the box frame, that TNGA box frame that we have underneath. Of course, we got a little bit of a badge, TRD Pro badging. And then from the side of the vehicle, like I said, mid-size trucks is just that perfect size to me. I love driving this Tacoma. Up top, you do have gloss black, another, I think, poor choice on the mirror caps with your LED lighting, 360-degree cameras. You have the two-tone, and you'll notice it's just the A-pillar and the flat portion of the roof. I'm so glad they didn't bring the black any further down. You do have gloss black on the door handles, and I like the way you have the rock sliders, the frame sliders to protect the frame, nice powder coated. Coming towards the rear, you got that composite rear bed. It will not dent, it will not rust, it will not flex. Well, maybe just a little bit, but not enough to where it's gonna cause any issues. You'll notice that as we come back, we have our catback TRD exhaust. Remember, Toyota Racing Development, love the staggered tips, gloss black, coming around the back end. Now, what's cool about this setup is that you do have the ability to raise and lower the tailgate. This is that elbow bump. You hit this, and the tailgate will go up and down very, very nicely. Actually, it goes down, and then to put it up, you just go like this. And then it should go up, but it's not. I don't know why it's not doing that, but I guess in a perfect world, everything would work exactly as it should be. LED lighting on the tail, love the TRD Pro embossed in the back. Of course, we have our iForce Max badging. And then out back, we have an ARB stamped steel rear bumper. Love the recovery tow hooks, the ARB recovery tow hooks, that bright red. You got full towing, and you got the spare nicely mounted underneath. To drop the tailgate down, we're just gonna hit the button once again. It's gonna come back down. We got the Tacoma name, nice solid rear tailgate. You got your bed liner, you have your power source, which is fantastic. And then you also have those adjustable tie down locations, LED lighting. And then on this side, you have some more storage there that you could put underneath, even on the side here. So they got some nice storage within the bed of the truck. And you do have a power sliding rear cab window. But why don't we go ahead? Let's see if I do it. I'm gonna try it again. I'm gonna tempt fate. Now, it should go back up. I don't know why it's making me mad, but you got your gloss black, another area where they put gloss black on the tailgate. But why don't we go ahead? Let's pop the hood. I know that will open and close just right. Let's go open it and see that iForce Max setup. All right, guys, we got the hood pop. There is a prop rod. I am gonna zonk that. That should be hood struts on this truck. Underneath the hood, first of all, I wanna show you got this TRD Pro air box. Nice to have some extra airflow in there. And then you'll notice the motor with our engine. So we have one electric motor with our engine. What are we looking at? You're looking at 326 horsepower, 465 pound-feet of torque. That's out of a 2.4 liter turbocharged engine with the motor. It's all mated to an 8-speed automatic, 0 to 60 in about 6 seconds. You could tow up to 5,000 pounds. MPGs is where you have 24 in the city and 23 on the highway. So nice to see that setup when it comes to torque, horsepower, and some really good MPGs. But like I said, the hood opens and closes just as it should. There you go, unlike the tailgate. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire it up and see this thing move. All right, guys, we're inside this 2025 Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I need a new midsize truck. I've always driven a Tacoma. I just don't know about this new generation, but how much is it? MSRP, the way that this one is optioned, is right around $67,000. That's quite a bit of a chunk of change. It's getting me all choked up. But let's see what the new Tacoma brings for the interior. To the door panels. Love the way they did the interior door panel. Soft touch up top with that TRD specific red stitching. Soft on the armrest. You got the TRD Pro badge with that faux carbon fiber. Doesn't look so bad. You have an area in the center where you could get 4 Costco hot dogs. That's what you're going to be eating after you buy one of these, since it costs so much. Our $1.50 Costco hot dogs. And then you have an assortment of bottle holders down there. Maybe get yourself 3 bottles of root beer to wash it down. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, you have your Toyota Heritage badge, the faux carbon fiber. It's okay. I'm not too crazy about it, but I've seen worse. Baker's dozen of Twinkies here, and then you have more of that stitching. Of course, we do have the Toyota safety kit that's got Band-Aids that look like little Tacomas. And then this has the bigger 14-inch infotainment system. Very easy to use, very, very intuitive. Of course, if I go into my cameras, I could show you all the great camera angles here. And it's very straightforward. Very, very straightforward to use. You can see how all of that camera, and then you could actually change the color of the truck, which ours is more of that color. Let's see, there it is. It's a little bit better. It's mud bath. Nope, that's not mud bath. That's definitely not mud bath, so we'll keep it here. That's as close to as mud bath as we could get. I'm gonna go ahead and put it into reverse. Cameras are clear as day. Trajectory looks great. We got every single camera angle you can think of. Wow, look at all that. Even our off-road setup. This is really cool because this is showing you the passenger side and the driver's side so that you don't bang up the wheels or puncture a tire. Really, really nice to have all of that information. Of course, we got a bright red TRD button to fire this thing up. Real volume knob, 3 stages of ventilated seats, 3 stages of heated seats. You got your toggle switches for your AC control, heated steering wheel. And then let me move the shifter out of the way because you have wireless charging, 12 volt, 2 USB-Cs, and a place where you could put 2 moon pies. And then this is your TRD specific shifter for the 8-speed automatic. You have your 4x4, real easy to do. You just switch by using the little indicator here, 4 low, 2 high, whatever you want. You got your different drive modes. I'll show you this when you come to the business end. Crawl control, tow and haul, lock the rear diff, disable the stabilizer bars, the anti-roll bars. That's going to allow you to be able to get more wheel travel. 2 cup holders, more of that soft touch material, red stitching. Open it up. You have just enough room in here, I would probably say, for a Sony Walkman and 1 cassette tape. I remember one that I used to play a lot when I was a kid was Milli Vanilli. And then I found out that they really weren't singing. Kind of crazy. But today, tons of people lip sync and make lots of money. So go figure. Seats. I love the TRD Pro specific seats. Look at the TRD badge there. These are the ISO dynamic seats. I'll show you the back when we get in the back seat. The interesting thing is that you have electric bottom, but manual back. It's because of those 2 shock absorbers that are in the back of the seat, but I love the bolstering. Standard size sunroof, I'm okay with it. And you do have a digital rear view mirror, which is really nice. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I want to show you behind the wheel of this TRD Pro. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. You do have your aluminum brake pedal, aluminum throttle, which is really nice. You got your TRD Pro all-weather floor mats. That's worth an extra 5 horsepower. Seat controls, including the lower lumbar. It's kind of funny how they put like a fake electric back seat controller here. Remember, the back seats are the back of the seat is manual. Seats, though, have some really nice bolstering, really going to hold you in tight. I'm 6 feet tall, plenty of headroom. Steering wheel, I love the leather. Soft as can be, perforated You got the TRD badge, you got the bright red up top, even some stitching on the horn button, flat black on all the switch gear, manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel. You have the ability to wire up 4 different auxiliary items like a winch, an air horn, maybe some additional lighting. That's for the TRD light bar that illuminates only when the high beams are on. So just something to remember. And then you have your 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster. Nice to have a really clean readout. You could scroll through a cornucopia of information and modes, sport, normal, and eco. That's all we need. We don't need any other fancy dancy modes. And then you're able to also change up the instrumentation very, very easily as well. Let me go ahead and get all these warning things out of the way. So there's the ability to then change information and everything that you want in the gauges, which is kind of cool. Like your Sirius XM 80s on 8, I always like to listen to. Plus, if you're gonna do it 80s style, you have your removable Bluetooth speaker, and this is where you could jam out to Milli Vanilli and walk around the beach and stuff. See if you could pick up some women or something. I don't know, but kind of cool. You got a wireless speaker and it actually charges itself right in the dash. But why don't we go ahead, let's get in the back seat because I want to show you what's on the back of these seats that I'm sitting in. Let's go check it out. All right, guys, back seat time, and probably the coolest thing I've ever seen in an off-road style truck is you have your isodynamic seats. So these shock absorbers are going to control how vibration and bumps and all that is going to affect the driver and the passenger seat for the 2 people up front. You have your adjustments that you can make. You can air it up, the gauges and everything. The problem is that with these isodynamic seats, it compromises the rear seat space. It just does. I had to move up the driver's seat. I even had to move up this seat, and I'm still kind of squished in here. Remember, I'm 6 feet tall. 2 cup holders. You do have a home power source and 2 USB-Cs. There's just no way in hell I would want to off-road sitting back here. If I'm off-roading, I'm either driving it or I'm sitting in the passenger seat. I'm not sitting back here. You can sit back here. No center armrest. That's sad in a $67,000 truck. But you can. Nope. Can't do that. I was going to lift up the seat, but you can't. The reason why is because this is the hybrid, and this is where that battery pack is for the hybrid setup. But why don't we go ahead, let's go for a little spin and see how this Tacoma TRD Pro drives. All right, guys, we are inside this 2025 Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro. Right away, you're gonna love the comfort of these seats. I mean, they do have some bolstering, so just something to be aware of, but when it comes to support and really isolating what's happening outside the cab, the seats do a fantastic job. And even though there is a lot of people saying it's just a bunch of hype with the isodynamic seats, when you really turn up the wick, Baja style, you're gonna feel the benefits. And that's really what this truck is set up for. Yeah, it'll rock crawl, but it's really for that open Baja experience, fast pace, lots of wheel movement and wheel travel. And with the way the suspension is tuned in this truck, it's gonna allow for that. Visibility out the front is great. I love seeing the big bulge in the hood. Just makes it look so purposeful and just really badass looking. And of course, you're gonna get your Toyota Sensing 3.0 safety features in this vehicle. That's gonna be everything from blind spot monitoring, lane keep assist, emergency brake assist, backup assist, the whole 9 yards. And then this is the only mid-sized off-roader that has the stabilizer bar disconnect that's electric. Along with, on top of that, it does have that electric locking rear diff. Love the visibility of the dash. We could put it right into sport mode very easily. And with the electric motor of the hybrid system, you are gonna get that extra torque sensation, especially from a dead stop. Along with the turbocharged power of the 2.4 liter. But watch this. You ready? On throttle. Here we go. 8-speed gets the business, and we're off to the races. So the electric motor makes the turbocharged engine, like if you're worried about any kind of boost lag, you're not going to have that issue whatsoever. And then when you get to an off-road area, this is where now you can decide what you want to do. So we can go into disable the stabilizer bar, and now I could then take it from 2 high to 4 high. So now it's switching over to 4 high. It's illuminating on the dash, still in sport mode. I got stabilizer bar disconnect and the vehicle switching over to 4 high. Let me make sure. Might want me to, there we go. We tried it all. And here we go. So as you can see, that flexibility and wheel travel, the ground clearance, all those different things are going to allow you to really be at home and feel at ease driving this truck in any kind of off-road situation. But you get up to speed and she goes. I mean, you can see just how usable this truck is, and it really is a lot of fun to drive. I mean, look at it. Here we go. Here we go. Really, really capable. Just one of those trucks that this is just scratching the surface. But, and you can see with the forward-facing camera, of course, you could shut off all the sensing technology so it's not going crazy on you. But I do like the fact that you do have those cameras, which are great. I can lock the rear diff, just did that. And then you have your cameras, and we have it out the front here, and you can see how the cameras come into play while you're off-roading. Are you ready? On throttle, here we go. Woo! Nice. On the brakes, look at this. Lots of fun behind the wheel of this truck. It really is one of those trucks that you can have a blast. And then when you're done off-roading, it's real simple. You come back to the urban jungle. We're gonna reconnect our stabilizer bar. We're going to unlock the rear diff, and I'm going to switch this from 4 high to 2 high. All very simple, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And then as soon as the traffic clears, now we could go on throttle. On throttle, here we go. So like I said, being a very versatile truck makes it really special. It's so comfortable. There is some sound being pumped in through the speaker system, but the good news is that Toyota seems to have a pretty good handle on this simulated sound, at least in their trucks. Tundra always, I thought, with the new setup, the iForce Max has a nice sound through the speakers. So does this. It's not obnoxious. It actually really feels natural because how they have it tuned, and as you can see, you know, people driving like they drive here in Florida, how they have it tuned works well with the throttle pedal. It's all in unison and very, very natural. And I like that. But what I like even more is because this is a mid-sized truck, it's just very easy to drive in traffic. The handling on it is great. And yes, you are getting more road noise with those off-road Wranglers, but it's a nice compromise and it's nothing too crazy. So that's the good news. Plus the fact that you got heated seats, ventilated seats, heated steering wheel, the auxiliary switches if you want to bolt anything else up to this thing. It just really allows you to have a cornucopia of different ways to pamper yourself behind the wheel. And it's crazy to think that a true off-roader like the TRD Pro has all those amenities. Once upon a time, you had to sacrifice and give up all those things. If you want to change what's in the center display, very easy to do. You could just go through whatever you want to have in the center there. Adaptive cruise you want on, there you go. You have your adaptive cruise. But like I said, just visibility is great. You're sitting up nice and high. Out the back, of course, with the digital rearview mirror, it's kind of redundant. You do have good visibility. And, I mean, I know that many people are still questioning the reliability of this truck. I think Toyota did it right with this setup. Now, would it be my preferred setup? No. I would love a V6, naturally aspirated. But they did bring the horsepower and the torque to this platform very well. But I'm hoping that this has been a good overall review of what the Tacoma TRD Pro is bringing for the money. We're gonna get back to where it all started and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, another great day in so many ways with this Tacoma TRD Pro. We gotta thank everybody at Toyota USA for getting us access to this truck. Let me know what you think. Has Toyota done it right, or did they screw up all that rich heritage of bulletproof powertrains with the introduction of this iForce Max powered Tacoma TRD Pro? Let me know your thoughts in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rise family. Gotta give it to Stephen Flood. I always make him laugh and smile, because some days you just gotta do that for a friend. Let them smile a little. Give them a reason to smile. So thank you, Stephen, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.